Hello, today we're gonna do a what sold video. I think it's time to do another like what sold fast video instead of just anything randomly as I look at them. So we're gonna focus mostly on things that have sold within 90 days. So we're going by 100% sell-through rate on eBay, which means the thing sold within 90 days. That's what I consider fast. That's probably subjective depending on what you believe, but that's what we will be focusing on today. Now, before we continue, I do want to say that if you are going to try to figure out the math based on what I'm just telling you, the math's not going to math, all right? It's not, because I'm going to tell you what the item sold for, and then I'll tell you what I paid for it, and then what I paid in fees, and then that's all I'll really share. That tells you the profit afterwards. That does not include any discounts or other variables that we have, and it does not include taxes paid. So keep that all in mind. I'm going to tell you what they paid, what I paid, the fees, and the profit before tax. And beyond that, I do want to say that today's video is sponsored by Prime Lister. I have talked about Prime Lister now for a while on my channel, and it really is such a great software to use. It is a cloud-based software that helps you with all of your Poshmark closet needs. I am not a fan of the social aspects of Poshmark, and most people aren't, probably, just like me. So for a long time, I didn't do them, and I did try a free software that did okay, but there were definitely flaws within that software. And now I'm using Prime Lister, which has been great because I don't have to babysit the computer, okay? That's a big deal. I say it every month pretty much because that was my biggest pet peeve with the old software. I don't want to sit and babysit a computer to make sure that it's working. So I feel like Prime Lister is just this godsend for all the social aspects of Poshmark. So I just set it and I forget it. It controls how often my items are shared, how often I share other people's items, how often items are relisted. It sends out the offers for me really quickly to anybody who likes an item. It has ways for me to do like bulk offers, bulk editing, things like that, which is another great feature. They've also been adding new features, which we won't get into in this video, but really cool features regarding being able to work on some other platforms as well. But yes, Poshmark, I really love the stress-free life of the cloud-based Prime Lister software so that I can just focus on getting my listings done and not worrying about anything else, because there's plenty that keeps me busy. I don't need all those little social things about Poshmark keeping me busier than I already am. So if you're like me and you're a busy small business owner or a parent or a homeschooler or any variable of things that keep you busy, check out Prime Lister. You won't regret it. I really love it. And with using my link down below, it will actually give you 30% off your very first month. Not to mention, you also do get a 2-week trial for free. No strings attached. You don't have to put in any payment information. Very basic info goes in. And then after your 2 weeks, you can use the 30% off to go ahead and start your Prime Lister experience, and I'm confident that it will work great for you just like it has for me. Okay, let's talk about some items that have sold. So surprisingly, our first one is not Poshmark or eBay. The first one we're going to talk about is Depop. Now also keep in mind, the prices I'm going to give you, they're what they truly sold for, okay? I don't do a super high average sale price on everything. I have bread and butter items all over the place, so keep that in mind with these prices. So the first item actually sold on Depop for $23, and it took 45 days. This was a boutique sweater, which means either it was brandless, which it was in this case, or like a tag maybe was torn off. That's just a nice way to say I don't know what brand it is. But this was a boutique sweater that I knew would sell because it had this very gothy vibe to it, and it was a distressed high neck goth sweater with bats. So black and gray, perfect little piece for somebody who loves that style. So I knew it would sell. So yeah, sold on Depop, $23. I paid originally $2.16 for it. The fees were only $1.59 on that platform, so I made a profit of $19.25. Next, we're moving on to this Parsley Sage top, which is a brand that you have to get the right pieces, I feel like, and it's those artsy pieces. It's a Parsley Sage top. It was artsy with a pocket on it. Log and look is a very useful word for these kind of items. It was like a cowl neck, bohemian. Artsy and log and look are probably the things that sell this the most, and I was right about that. It did sell on eBay in 3 days for $25. I originally paid $2.50 for it. Fees were $4.77, so I made a profit of $19.84 on that item. So the cool thing you can see here is even if it's bread and butter, you can still make your money. You just have to keep costs low, which I know is not easy everywhere, but for me, it's available. It's a little bit of a challenge, but it is available to me. So I like to keep the costs as low as possible. That way no matter how low the bread and butter is, I'm still making a good profit. $19 turned around on a bread and butter is great. Next is one that I have a love-hate relationship with, and that's Madewell jeans. This was a Madewell jeans 90s straight jean, which is a popular style still. It's been going strong for a few years. Not specifically the Madewell brand, maybe, I don't know. I haven't really tracked the history of that, but just that style in general. So that was a big part of what sold it. And then it was black denim, which I feel like can be pretty popular depending on what it is. So in this case, it was helpful. It was a size 27, high rise, and I used some keywords after that, but I knew it would sell. So it sold on Poshmark in 44 days for $25, which is great because I only paid $2.16 for it. The fees were $5, so I made $17.84 in profit on those jeans. Okay, next is a Title IX Dream Swing Skirt. And Title IX is just a brand that once again has a following and sells itself. So I did feel like the title of the item was helpful in this case. That's why you see me putting it the full Dream Swing Skirt. That just depends on the item and if it is actually useful. In this case it was. I did put the color because I felt like that was useful as well on the solds, which was sea glass blue. And then I used your regular keywords after that you can see. It did sell on Mercari for $47. No, I'm sorry. It sold on Mercari in 47 days for $22.97. I originally paid $2.16, keeping that cost low once again. And the fees were $2. This was before they went back to their now, like where they're charging us fees. And this was when it was just the $2 fee for a whole, for anything that you withdraw from them to put in your bank. And I would just hold everything till the end of the month. And that first item of that month would be the item I would charge for. So this is actually towards the end of a month, I think. That makes sense because Mercari doesn't sell a ton for me. But yes, that was before they went back to charging us fees, and I made a profit of $18.81. Next we have a Sundance top. It was like a peasant blouse style item, and it had a nice little busy pattern going on with some embroidery and beading. Very bohemian. And it sold on eBay in 6 days for 20 bucks. So that's a great turnaround time, especially when I only paid $2 for it. The fees were $3.69, so I made a profit of $16.34. So Sundance isn't a brand that I pick up everything in anymore, but definitely something like this seems to have interest for people. So I did pick it up. And what size? Extra large. So that does help. The size definitely helps sell that item. I feel like if that was a medium or small, it would sit a lot longer. Okay, next is a vintage Bobby Brooks vest. And it kind of reminds me of the sofas from like the 80s, 90s, maybe the 70s, 60s. Yeah, like those ugly floral couches, which is a vibe. So I could totally get why it sold. Size medium, button up, vintage. I put 90s style because the tag was a 90s style. I mean, it was a 90s tag. Even though it kind of felt a little older. But yeah, this sold on Mercari in 48 days for $20 even. I paid $2.16 for them, and there were no fees because, like I said, the fee was already placed on the very first item I talked about. So this brought it to $17.84 in profit. So great little turnaround on a vintage vest. Yeah, I definitely try to pay attention to these kind of vests. I've sold two recently similar. It's just something people like right now. Okay, next, this actually should have sold for more, but I sent the offer. I'm one of those people that accidentally wakes up middle of the night sometimes and does things. One time I ordered a bunch of cereal, like literally boxes of cereal in the middle of the night. And then I went to go pick up my groceries and I was like, what was I doing? Because I ordered groceries at like 2 a.m. It's almost like a sleepwalking for me. But this was one of those things where I sent an offer in the middle of the night, and this could have gone for more. I know it could have, but they took that offer that I sent in the middle of the night, and it sold on eBay. Well, first it was an Appleseeds wool cardigan, and it had like the old money look to it. It was a really cute cardigan. So I figured it would do well, and it was an XL, which is helpful. It sold on eBay in 35 days, and it was for $25 because that's the offer I sent. I think I meant to send 35, but you know, when you do things at 2 in the morning in the middle of your sleep, that's what happens. The cost that I paid for it was $3.99. The fees were $5.49. This did have a promotional fee that it sold for $2.06, so I made $19.62 on that. So I still can't be mad. That's not bad. Just I need to not do it in the middle of the night. Have you ever done weird stuff in the middle of the night? Kind of like a sleepwalking of some form, but doing other things like I do? If so, please tell me in the comments because I'd love to hear who else does ridiculous things. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead before we continue, before I lose track of where I'm at, I'm going to share some outliers. So these are ones that didn't sell in 90 days, but they still were good turnarounds. One is a Sorel men's caribou boot, size 11. They're waterproof. These things were so thick and heavy, but it sold on Poshmark in 262 days for $65, which is great. Now I had paid $20 for them at the thrift store, which I still made a decent turnaround, so I'll take it. So I would like to make more off something I paid $20 for, but we'll take it. The fees were $13, which hurts. But you know, Poshmark's got heavier fees, and my profit was $27.50. So I doubled my money at least, you know, almost more. We will take that win. A win is a win. I'll only share one more outlier here, and that is a Robert Graham button-down shirt. It was yellow paisley. This was actually in my death pile for like over a year, and I finally got to it. So it did stay listed after I listed it for 276 days, and it sold on Poshmark for $38. I paid $4.99 for it originally. Fees were $7.60, so I made a profit of $25.41, sorry. So that's definitely an item where it's like, why were you leaving it? That was $25 profit in your pocket to get a year ago. And I listed it super late, so really like a year and a half ago. But that's what I do. I'm one of those people. I'm working on it though. Now let's move on. Let's do a few more. Back to the 90-day turnaround. This one is a Talbot's blouse, and it had a really cute like London scenery of landmarks all over it. So that's why I picked it up, because for some reason the touristy pieces are something that just do well for me for bread and butter. Now with it being sleeveless and everything, I knew it wouldn't go for as much as my usual bread and butter, but that's fine because this was either a bins item or super cheap at a thrift store. But it sold on Poshmark in 39 days for $15. I only paid 98 cents for it, so yeah, that was a bins item. And the fees were just $3. So I made $11.02 on that with a decent turnaround time. So that's something I always pick up for quick bread and butters. Okay, this next item went for low because it did have a large hole in the sleeve, I think. And that's a marine layer Kindle plaid flannel. And this was a woman's flannel as well. I feel like the men's stuff might sell better for marine layer, but I sold it on Poshmark nonetheless for $17 in 33 days. So I took that offer because it's flawed. I'm happy to get 15 or more for flawed items. So I originally paid $5.29 because I didn't think it was flawed and thought I would get more. The fees were $3.40, so I only made a profit of $8.31. So that was a mistake on me. At least I made a profit on my mistake. Okay, next is a Ralph Lauren black label pajama set. Now this isn't the like very fancy black label. This is their normal brand black label, which still does better than their other colors. Not all, but most of them. But it is not like the fancy line of Ralph Lauren black label. Just to be clear, there is a difference. But this was a pajama set, and it was 100% cotton, very nice feeling, very breathable, like very thin knit. It had a lot of really good things about it, so I knew it would sell. I didn't know how quick it would sell, but I knew it would sell, so I was happy that it turned around in 45 days for $33 for both the top and bottom together as a set. I paid $5.29 for it at a Goodwill. The fees were $6.60, so I made a profit of $21.11. And next we're going to talk about a J. Jill blouse, and it was a size 4X. I'm finding even the larger sizes aren't selling for a ton. This was like low bread and butter, but that's okay. I looked at my stats and it seems like J. Jill is still worth picking up. It's lower in bread and butter, but it sells. As you guys know, I go back and forth all the time in the videos about how I feel about it, but it's still going to be something worth picking up for at least low bread and butter, especially when I'm struggling to find good items, because that happens when you're sourcing. So this was a J. Jill blouse with a textured knit. It was purple and a size 4X. It was another Mercari sale, which was surprising that I had so many Mercaris kind of at the same time. It's not a platform that sells well for me. It was sheer, but it was because it was so thin knit, and it wasn't tight knit either. It was not perforated, but there's definitely gaps within the way it was sewn and knit together. Lots of stretch, so it was a great piece, for very versatile for a lot of reasons. So yeah, sold on Mercari in 59 days for $22. I originally paid $2.16 at the bins. This, again, I paid $2. So I must have withdrawn some stuff not expecting anything else to sell, and then it sold. Something like that. So I did pay $2 for that for the fees. So $17.84 is what we're talking about for this profit on this sale. All right, thanks so much for being here with me and checking out some of the items I've sold. I hope it gives you some insight into the way my store works and maybe some things that you could find around you if you have similar things to source around you. If you want to check out more videos, go ahead and click over here. Don't forget, once again, check out the link down below for Prime Lister to get that really good discount. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have fun. Have a good day. What was I saying? Have fun. Have fun thrifting, I guess. That's just what came to mind. But okay. Have a good day.